Hi everyone, it's Ken Mason from Whispering Souls. So again, we're here for part three of the aura and what's actually inside of it, and looking into the onions that are surrounding us, what they do, what they can do, how we connect to them. So last time we talked about the emotional level, where all the emotions are generated. It's picking up emotions in other people. It's where the empaths people live. So they when they walk in a room, they sit there and they pick up on these emotions, and these are generated on the second level so that you know we can deal with them. However, the third level is the one that kind of organizes it. It's what we call the mental level. It's the logical level, and it's not that it's any better than the first one. What it does is it combines all the stuff into one level and puts it on the table for us to know or to use or to see. Um, you'll find for instance, if as often people say, when I get mad, I see red. Well, this is what our body's trying to do for us. So we see red. The you know the mind will see that and it says, okay, well, he's really mad, so now I'm going to show mad. I'm going to take that out of my emotional section. I'm going to put it up in his head. I'm going to show him red so he knows he's really mad. And his whole color scheme in this place will turn red. However, it also changes very quickly as his mental logic comes down. So sometimes your aura will get really red, then all of a sudden it'll change, and it's got so many colors in it we don't know exactly what's going on. So a lot of it, this is where a lot of this psychics come in. This is where we read. We don't break into foreheads or try to get into the mind, because the mind itself is a physical thing. It just holds all the stuff it needs for the physical world. All the stuff for our spiritual world is contained in our aura, nothing in our brain. It's why we can get brain injuries and still remember things. There's also, I'm sure you've heard of stories of people who've had a brain injury, then all of a sudden are able to speak a fluent language for some odd reason, and that's because it's tapping into the aura, not into the brain. So it's part of his past life. I've seen one person who never spoke French. Got a brain injury, and all of a sudden was speaking perfect French. Again, it's not what's in the brain; it's what's in your aura and what your past life was, and what language you spoke in the past life. It's all stored there. So, but if you're worried about if people being able to see things, or perhaps you've done something you don't want people to know about, and you're really worried about going to see psychic and the psychic be able to read it, it's not really possible, because we lock them. We have that aura, and we'll put into certain places, and we'll put a little box with a lock signal on it, a symbol on it. That's just the way I interpret it, so that if I come across it, I'm not able to read. I'm not able to see what's in that box, and that's protection. That it's kind of like a ethics protection. Perhaps I have it, maybe other people's don't, but I certainly have it. So I'll never see somebody who did something bad and they don't want me to know about it. And that's also controlled by their aura, by their spirit guide as well. So there's as you can see in this next screen here, you'll see here that this up and down wave, in the spirit world, this up and down wave is constant within us. It's really an indication of where you are positive and where you're negative in life. So if you're really in a positive in a positive mood that day, that whole wave will go upwards, so that your entire wave is inside the positive part, right above that line, and very hard to put you into the negative part. If you're in a real negative part, then all that whole wave will go below that line, and then all is negative, and you won't see any positive because you're all below that line. Now, obviously, everybody's, that line goes in between. I mean, we move up and down constantly. Most people, 98% of people, have a positive and a negative at the same time, and they obviously will have some negativities and some positivities, but there's a lot of people that go through a lot of depression, And that's why we go into this depression, is because of this negative up and down that we have. There's also, you'll notice in the next picture that below that waist is usually the dark stuff. It's where all the stuff that you pushed in your life, you've had a trauma, so you shove it down towards your feet. That's why they use it, you keep shoving it down. Because you're shoving it below this line and down into the negative area. You'll notice in one of these pictures that, there's a picture of a baby at the bottom. Well, a miscarriage or a death of a baby, that you've pushed that emotions down to the bottom. And your logic is there saying, well, you don't want to deal with it, so I'm just going to shove it down there so you don't deal with it. But the one below the waist is typically very dark. I'm not able to find a picture or something that shows you the separation between the dark. I think this one kind of shows you a bit of it. But anything that's kind of below the waist is usually very dark. It's very negative. It can, the top obviously is kind of like the night negative, and the more you go down, the more really dark negatives you get into. And it's the same as the top, where you have that line, and as you're going up, you have the kind of happiness, and as you go up, then you get that really happiness. And as you can see in that picture too, or the next picture, you can see now how different colors they are. So the bottom again, a little dark red with that little dark spot on there. Again, the baby's down there. This is your negative area. The colors out on the top, now you can interpret what the colors are. You can look at it and say, oh, we got that pink on top, which is communication with the spiritual world. You got the yellow on the left-hand side here, which is all education, knowledge, intelligence. On the other side, you have green, which is typically assigned to, healing. Typically, everybody's colors is different. So you can interpret whichever way you want to interpret. And you notice there's little dots around. The aura goes in a very circular way. It always turns. It's always moving. And typically for that, it's because we change our auras all the time. We change colors all the time. But those three little reds, always stay there because they're negatives that we have to deal with. And you will notice these, when you're doing something and it's been a while and talking to a friend, and else, and somebody that you had a real argument with will suddenly pop into your head. And you'll go, why am I thinking about this? I'm still angry. I got to deal with this. Then it pops out of your head. So these little things that roll around, as you can see in this picture, there's three of them. They'll go up and down based on the speed of your aura. Now let's get to the speed of the aura. So the speed of aura is all controlled by your patience, or your anxiety. Typically, the auras are very calm. They move around very fast. They move around in a circle. They're calm. Let's say they're just running at, maybe at a speed of 60. Let's just pick 60 as the norm. Because they kind of work, with medical. I'm going to compare them to the medical speeds that we have, because we always look at our heart rate. We know, it's 60 or 80, it's good. If it's if it's 110, that means we're having issues. If it's down to 40, we're having issues. And it's kind of the same thing with this. So as they speed around, if they're at about 60, that means they're kind of normal. So they'll go around 60, whatever speed you want to call it, 60 at miles per hour, or meters per hour, or whichever one you want to use. But that's the calm rate, is 60. Now, as soon as you get some anxiety or anger or whatnot in there, then it speeds up. So it speeds up because it wants to get more energy in you. If you get angry, you suddenly have a lot more energy. You have adrenaline. It peaks the adrenaline, and you see red, and you see other colors, and it's just because you're just pumping all this energy around you. Now, when you slow down, however, you can get below 60, which just basically means you're getting ready to go to bed. You're getting ready for your spirit body to leave you. So at night when you do, you look at your the level of your aura when you're asleep, which obviously you can't, but there's very, very low because your spirit body's not there. It leaves a little, a little alarm in there so that when you leave your body, that little alarm's there, so you'll always be warned when there's something wrong. But, the aura controls that as well. Like we leave our bodies every night. We have to give our bodies, the physical bodies, time to, recover and relax. But when we leave this little alarm. So if something comes up, then we can come back to our bodies and protect ourselves. That's why sometimes, you might feel yourself being slammed into bed, wake up, out of breath, and saying, what the hell happened? And that's because your spirit body came back too fast. That's why some people feel like they're floating when they go to sleep or, falling. You're leaving your body. But, this is really, really why, our auras are the strongest on this level. It controls everything. It controls our emotions. It controls our visual abilities. It controls the 10 senses we have. We have 5 on spiritual, 5 on physical, so it controls all that. And so it just goes along, and it's really one of the more powerful things. The aura itself at this point in time, no, that's the next level. Anyway, so this is about as much as sorry. So again, this is a lot of what this aura is. I know there's a lot of information, a lot of stuff that people will go, oh my God. But it's kind of the information I like to give out to people, so that, when they're going through certain things, that they can have kind of something to base what's happening to this. But you'll also have other things happening too. So I'm going to be doing another one just right after this, which will be separate from this, which will be exercises. I decided not to put them on this one because it's just easier for people to, and it makes this smaller. I don't usually like stuff that's long, so I decided to make this one smaller, and I'm just going to do the exercises shortly on another video. So if you like this, come visit our website and hit a like and follow, and also if you go to my website, www.whisperingsouls.ca, a lot of our lessons and discussions are also on that one underneath the on the blog section. So anyway, I hope this helped you in some way.